Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
We are again presented today for the pre-bid conference for goods and services under invitation to bid number 2024-006. We are live in via YouTube in compliance with the verdict order number 06 series of 2024. Is direct us to stream activities like this for accountability and transparency of procurement processes. Before we proceed, may I request the Secretariat to please acknowledge those who are present here today.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Present for today's activity, pre-bid conference for goods and services. June 26, 2024, our chairperson, Engineer Edwin Alco.
Present.
Vice chairperson, Engineer Lorna Limutin. Present. Regular member, Engineer Leslie P. Gunito. Present. Provisional member, Engineer Jeffrey C. Samo.
Present.
Provisional member, Ms. Shirley Luigi. Present. Provisional member for Civil Works, Engineer Arthur Noel A. Lord.
Present.
OIC Head for Procurement Unit, Engineer Dinicol G. Carinas.
Present.
And BACSEC member, yours truly, Rodrigue Bacay. From the DPWH, headed by Engineer Jack de Eliseo.
Present.
And user from Maintenance Section, Engineer Giancarlo Di Talupa. And representatives from Golden Dynasty Motors, Mr. Francis Isla. And from AutoKid Truck Solutions, Ms. Ray Soriano.
Good morning po.
That's all, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Since the majority of block members present, I hereby declare a quorum and call this meeting to order. We have a present agenda for this activity. 1A, basic contract data. 1B, requirements of bidding documents. 1C, documents to be submitted by the bidders. 1D, criteria and procedure for eligibility check. 2, questions, comments from bidders and replies of BAC and other representatives of procuring entity. 3, other matters to strike policy against violation of section 69.1.I of the ER of RE 9184. And 4, summary of proceedings including supplemental bid bulletins to be issued. Any motion to adopt this present agenda?
I move to adopt the present agenda. Second by motion.
Okay, that's moved by Engineer Rubin and seconded by Omid Singh. And with no objection, the motion to adopt this agenda is hereby approved. First, in order of business, is the explanation of basic contract data, including contract description, ABC, and duration. And this is presented to us by Engineer Giancarlo Tagupa from the maintenance section.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone, and to the viewers.
Good morning.
Contract ID 24GLI 0016 with PR number of 2024-06-042 dated 06/04/2024. Contract name: supply and delivery of heavy equipment and service vehicles for the use in construction, rehabilitation, and improvement of national roads and bridges and other infrastructure projects of Davao de Oro 2nd District Engineering Office, Compostela, Davao de Oro. Contract location: Davao de Oro. Brief description of goods to be procured: fuel tanker 4x4, 6,000 liters capacity, 2-chamber man lifter / stake truck 4x2, main truck 6-wheeler, backhoe / loader 0.30 cubic meter, digging cap 10 cubic meter, loading cap, backhoe wheel type, bucket cap 0.60 cubic meter, and pick-up 4x4 manual transmission with insurance. Approved budget for the contract or ABC 24,850,000 pesos. Source of funds: DEO CY 2024. Delivery date of goods, 20 calendar days. Cost of bid documents, 25,000 pesos. That will be all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for your Engineer Tagupa for your explanation of the projects to be procured by interested bidders. Next, in order of business is the requirements of bidding documents, and this will be presented to us by Engineer Del Paul Caminos.
Good morning. So, to participate and qualify in our procurement activity, interested bidders are encouraged to read the following documents. 1. Instruction to bidders. 2. Bid data sheet. 3. General conditions of the contract. 4. Special conditions of contract. 5. Schedule requirements. 6. Technical specifications. 7. Bill of quantities. 8. Securities and other forms as may be required for the contract. Bidders are strongly advised to read each provision, especially in the instruction to bidders and general conditions of the contract, whose special instructions are clearly spelled out in the bid data sheet and special conditions of the contract, respectively. Bidders are also encouraged to check the bill of quantities so that your bid will be responsive to the requirements set forth in the bidding documents. These documents can be downloaded free of charge from the PhilJEBs and DPWH websites. Interested bidders shall pay the applicable amount for the bidding documents not later than the submission of your bids. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for discussing these documents. Next in the order of business is the documents to be submitted by the bidders, and this will be discussed to us by Ms. Bakay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The following documents that should be included by the interested bidders in their bids for the technical component of the bid: DTI or SEC registration, mayor's permit, statement of ongoing and similar completed government and private contracts, audited financial statements stamped received by the BIR, income tax return of the preceding year filed and paid through the BIR EFPS, computation of NFCC, tax clearance, PhilJEBs under Platinum membership, bid security in the prescribed form, technical specifications, production or delivery schedule, warranty certificate if applicable, brochures of the offered equipment, omnibus sworn statement in accordance with the GPPB resolutions, and secretary certificate and board resolutions if applicable. For the financial component of the bid form, and the duly signed bid prices in the bill of quantities. Please be reminded that the following documents, omnibus sworn statement, bid form, and bid securing declaration, if you opted to this type of bid security, should be in standard format as per guidelines of GPPB Resolution number 16-2020. Kindly check the format of the documents you are using to avoid being declared non-responsive pursuant for using unprescribed format. These documents should be submitted using the 2-envelope system. Bidders are urged to only fasten the documents at the topmost portion instead of hard or soft binding them. Each document should be ear-tagged appropriately. There shall be 3 copies of these documents: original, copy 1, and copy 2. Original copies of technical component of the bid shall be sealed on one envelope, and original copies of financial component of the bid shall be sealed on another envelope. These envelopes should be labeled as original copy of technical component and original copy of financial component. These labeled envelopes shall then be sealed into one envelope and label it as original copy of the bid. The same process of sealing for copies 1 and 2. Lastly, Original copy, copies 1 and 2 of the bid shall be sealed into one final envelope and label it inappropriately as instructed in the bidding documents. Bidders are encouraged to read section 15 of the instructions to bidders, page 14, to fully understand the sealing and marking of bids in case you did not catch up what I have said. Submit your bids personally here in our office on or before July 9, 2024, 9 a.m. Late bids will not be accepted. Further, on your bid form and bill of quantities, write legibly. Discrepancies between bid prices in words and figures, the words will prevail. Bids not addressing or providing or filling out all the required items in the bidding documents, such as in the bill of quantities, the bid is considered non-responsive and is outright disqualified. Always check your documents before submitting the same to our end to avoid disqualification of your firm. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Bakay, for discussing the documents. Next, in order of business, 1D is a criteria and procedure for eligibility check, and this will be discussed to us by Engineer Chief DEO.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our suppliers present here and to our viewers. The criteria for eligibility check is set forth in Section 23 of the revised implementing rules and regulations of RA 9184. So all prospective bidders should have an updated Class A, legal, technical, and financial documents, and Class B documents if applicable. So these documents were already discussed by Ms. Bakay a while ago. So during the opening of bids, the first envelope, which contains the technical component of the bid, shall be opened. After opening the first envelope, the bank will conduct preliminary examination of the technical components of the bid. Bidders who pass the preliminary examination of their technical proposal, their financial proposal will also be opened. All open financial components of the bid will undergo preliminary examination. So if passed, the committee will read, or the chairperson or the presiding officer will read the bid amount stated in the bid form. The BAC shall immediately conduct a detailed evaluation of all bids with the aid of the technical working group using non-discretionary criteria, considering the first, completeness of the bid, the second, arithmetical corrections. Bids will then be ranked in the ascending order of their total calculated bid prices as evaluated and corrected for computational errors and other bid modifications to identify the lowest calculated bid. The lowest calculated bid will undergo post-qualification in order to determine whether the bidder concerned complies with and is responsive to all the requirements and conditions as specified in the bidding documents, pursuant to Section 34 of RA 994. Found to be responsive, the bidder will be declared lowest or single calculated and responsive bid and will be recommended for the award of the contract. If found to be non-responsive, the committee will conduct post-qualification to the next lowest calculated bid ranked during the bid evaluation stage. Reminders for suppliers: entries of the original copy of the bill of quantities shall be handwritten and limited to 2 decimal places only, and shall be signed by the duly authorized representative. Please take note that this is under goods and services. We have no system yet for electronic submission, so the mode of submission of your bids will be done on manual submission only. Submit your bids here on our office on or before July 9, 2024, 9 a.m. The place here is at DPWH Davao de Oro, 1st District Engineering Office, Nagulturan, Davao de Oro. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, DCU, for that discussion. Now we are now through with Agenda 1. We will proceed to Agenda 2. Questions, comments from bidders, and replies of BAC and other representatives of procuring entity. Questions, no? You have questions?
Pwede din sa magilang pala nisa. So, next day na rin, delivery. Delivery.
About sa delivery. About sa delivery.
20 calendar.
20 days.
Delivery of the rules is 20 calendar days.
Dili na ba pwede makakuha di?
As per kung compliance na kita, no? Compliance na. Ano say, kung kita na exceed. No? Okay, mamaya nakabutang sa itong kuha, specified na, di ba? Client na yun, pingipan yun ta. Ato yun lang ikuha, no? Basta di ka na mo exceed naman 20. Okay, mamaya nag-specified din rin, no? Okay, sa kuha. Delivery date of goods. Kaya siguro na sir, basta ikaw na i-schedule na dyan, no?
Ayaw, basta na.
Manis na dyan na. Basta 20, no, di ba? Order lang yun, no?
Okay, mag-order pa. Kulay na sa mga workers. Yung nanan sa kuha ng unit.
Sige, lang yun. Basta mga gini siya as per specified. Kaya namin yung ito. Kung mali ang di-kuhan. As per kuhan. Schedule. Okay. How about the buwan sir? Kung sa wala.
Sa pangalan?
Autokid po. But anyway, sir, meron naman din yung extension. Right? If depende na lang
Depende na lang sa kuhan. Sa
yeah.
depende
Kasi
sa-
yung 20 calendar days is short lang po talaga siya. So probably the availability ng unit should be 30 days.
depende
But
na lang
if naka-compliance na po siya, but anyway, after yung sa delivery, may extension naman talaga din yan siya.
consider siguro sa
Consider.
kuhan lang. Basta as least na kuhan lang. Just kung may extent ma-justify,
Okay po.
consider. How about the one, no? Consider ba itong sa mga bag? About siya kung may extension ba? Nasa relent ka. Hindi lang ba mga bag? One, hindi. About ka sa sistema, about extension. Hindi lang mga ano. Okay, siguro nagdepend lang yun, no, sa inyong about sa bilang sa testify lang yun lang siguro, no? Ano lang. As po na siya, di ba, i-manage na siya, no? Kung di ba, ma'am, basta as long lang na may nalanggit tayo timeline, no? Time din na ito, say, 20 calendar days na ito, makakuha. Kamutan na yun. Other one,
No comments yet, sir.
if there are no more questions, no, we'll proceed to other matters. 3. Agenda 3, other matters, strike policy against violation of section 69.1.I of the IRR of RE 9184, and this will be discussed to us by Engineer Samon.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, viewers. In order to establish a fair and transparent system of managing offenses committed by the bidders in procurement of infrastructure, goods, and consulting services project through a public bidding, the Department of Public Works and Highways hereby introduces an updated 3 strikes policy. This policy is aimed to enforcing adherence to the procurement guidelines stipulated under section 69.1.I of the 2016 Revised Implementing Rules and Regulation, Republic Act 9184. Under this policy, if a bidder commits 3 offenses, acts described as all other acts that tend to defeat the purpose of competitive bidding, they shall be subjected to an administrative penalty. These offenses acts are further classified into 3 major categories as enumerated below. As per Department Order 28 Series of 2024, the classification of offenses that triggers to the 3 strike policy an exception. 1. withdrawal from bidding process, submission of non-participation letter, or failure to submit a bid after purchasing the bids documents. However, the Bids and Awards Committee recognizes certain valid reasons for these actions. If the bidder, after reviewing the bidding documents and evaluating the availability market options, determines that the required goods and supplies either are not available or that the available alternatives do not meet the specified technical specification. Additionally, if providing the specific goods and supplies would require the bidder to incur costs exceeding the competitive and financially viable range, or if adherence to the specifications would lead to a bid price that is not economically favorable, the bidder may withdraw. To validate this reason, the bidder should present an affidavit demonstrating that participating in bid under this condition would be financially unsustainable. Number 2, submission of late bids without valid reasons. As determined by the BAC, exceptions will be considered under extraordinary circumstances, such as force majeure. This refers to unexpected and unavoidable external events that may impede or prevent a bidder for timely bid submission, as defined in Article 1174 of the Philippine Civil Code. Number 3, submission of patently insufficient bid. A patently insufficient bid refers to a bid that fails to include the comply with certain mandatory requirements. Determination of whether bidder committed such offense may occur as outlined below. A. During eligibility screening and or shortlisting. Submission of an expired certificate of Philippine Government Electronic Procurement System or PhilGIPS, registration of platinum membership, or certificate of PhilGIP certification containing expired Class A legal and financial documents as determined during the eligibility screening. B. During bid evaluation. Failure to submit required bid forms as outlined in Annex C detailing the complete list of required bid forms. Submission of incomplete, insufficient, or defective documents due to the non-inclusion and or omission of mandatory provision and statements for these required bid forms, as per Annex C, outlining the mandatory provision is required forms. Submission of unnotarized bid securing declaration. An omnibus sworn statement and a joint venture agreement or statements from all the potential joint venture partners with the exception during the declaration of state of calamity or implementation community quarantine or similar restriction declared or being implemented either locality of the procuring entity or of the bidder. Submission of bid forms, price schedules, bid securing declaration, omnibus sworn statement, and joint venture agreement without the name, legal capacity, and signature of the bidder or its authorized representative. Letter C. During post-qualification. Participation in bidding for consulting services and goods and services contracts by the bidder whose business type category as indicated on the mayor's permit does not match or unrelated to the contract being bid for, as determined during the post-qualification process. Number 3, enforcement and penalties. If the bidder commits any of the three major offenses acts listed above the 3 times within a year starting from the approval date of the resolution recommending an imposition of strike 1 is a first warning, which is counted as day 1. Through the 365, and if these three offenses are of similar or identical nature, it will trigger the enforcement of the stipulated administrative penalty. Suspension from participating in all DPWH procurement activities and entering into contract with any DPWH procurement entity. Subsequently, as per the procedure outlined in Annex A, this may result in the blacklisting of the suspended bidder, thereby disqualifying the bidder from participating in any government procurement activities for a period of 1 year. In conjunction with blacklisting, the bidder will also face bid security forfeiture and must comply with the enforcement of the bid securing declaration conditions. In more severe instances, when a bidder commits another set of 3 similar offenses, or more than 2 sets of 3 similar offenses and instances where more than 6 similar offenses occur within the said 1 year, with the said 1 year time frame, the bidder may be subjected to an increased penalty, resulting in blacklisting for a period of 2 years. This effective duration and penalty of either 1 or 2 years is applicable, will be clearly stipulated in blacklisting order with a provision that the duration of blacklisting shall not exceed a minimum period of 2 years. Commencing on the date of the blacklisting order is approved and issued by the Secretary. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. That discussion. And also, therefore, prospective bidders, be careful, okay, understand and comply to avoid the 3-strike policy. Now, we'll now proceed to the last agenda, the summary proceedings, including supplemental bid bulletin to be issued, and this will be presented to us by Engineer Rubin.
All the needed information were discussed and explained by the resource person. I would like to remind the prospective bidders to visit from time to time the DPWH and DPWH website, especially within the 7 calendar days prior to the deadline of the submission of bids, for supplemental or bid bulletin to be issued thereafter. Please also be reminded that the opening will be on July 9 at 10 a.m. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Good, thank you, Engineer Rubin. Okay. All of the business in the agenda will already taken into consideration. And may I know the pleasure of the body?
I move to adjourn this conference. I second the motion.
It's been moved by Engineer Rubin and seconded by Ambitsi. And with no objection, the motion to adjourn this conference is hereby approved, and this conference is now adjourned. Thank you and good morning.